Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Hey everyone, welcome to a very special episode by CoinDCX. This is Riya, your host, and today I have the DigitalBits team here with me. And it's a very special episode today because XTB, which is the DigitalBits token, that is being listed on CoinDCX. So I'll tell you a little bit about DigitalBits. It's an open source blockchain which powers digital assets like branded currencies, NFTs, stablecoins, etc. And we have Daniele with us, who's the MD at DigitalBits. Also, very specially, we have Francesco Totti with us, who's a former football player from FC Roma, and he's also the brand ambassador of DigitalBits. Hey, Daniele. Hey, Francesco. How are you guys doing?
Hey, thanks for having us. I let Francesco, to welcome the team. Francesco, qualsiasi cosa che ti va di dire, le persone stanno ascoltando.
Ok. Niente, grazie per avermi invitato, sono fiero e orgoglioso di essere qui con voi, così ci facciamo una bella chiacchierata e sono a disposizione per qualsiasi cosa.
Yeah, Francesco is really happy to be with us today, and he's open to talk about anything. It depends, I would say, but yeah, it's pretty happy to be here today with all of you guys in India, and thanking anyone to the attachment to the project and to the CoinDCX, which is listening today, DigitalBits. Thank you very much.
We're very happy to have you, Francesco. And honestly, there are a lot of huge fans here in India for you. Are you planning to come to India anytime soon?
Ci vogliono far andare in India. Stai pianificando di andare in India, ti ha chiesto.
Ancora no, però se ci sarà occasione volentieri, prima o poi ci andrò. È un paese che mi manca di vedere.
He's missing the country. He never traveled over there, and he's looking forward to visiting India anytime soon. So he's in the list.
Oh, wow. Interesting. We would love to have you. And also now that we know that you are from the crypto community, even more so, heartily welcome. Also, I'm curious as to what made Francesco you enter the crypto community. Football to crypto, how was this jump like? I'd not say jump, but how the interaction?
Vabbè, la smusso un po' perché la domanda è un po' tecnica, però dice, cioè questa cosa del fatto che la tecnologia, chiaramente qua parliamo di DigitalBits, si è avvicinato al calcio, cioè come la vedi sta cosa? È una cosa nuova, no? Cioè al di là della cosa specifica delle cripto, cioè come vedi la tecnologia che entra in qualche modo nel mondo del calcio?
Ma diciamo che la tecnologia, da una parte è pure giusto che possa entrare nel mondo del calcio perché ha una visibilità diversa, anche ecco, stare in una società o in una squadra, in un contesto così importante, essere, come posso dire, rappresentati da, per esempio, DigitalBits è una cosa che noi ci gratifica, molto importante, sia per la società che per la squadra che per i tifosi, perché stiamo parlando di una cosa grandissima che va oltre tutto quello che c'è.
Yeah, it's a kind of a sign of recognition of an evolution of the world of football, meaning that it's a kind of a signal that everything is growing, and the fact that technology players, in this case crypto, like DigitalBits and others, entering into the space with different, I would say, I'm amplifying a bit, with different views, it's a good thing in order to help the sports and the football in particular to grow.
Oh, interesting. Also, it's like watching a movie with subtitles. I had to, understand what he just said to react. But interesting. Also, I lately saw that DigitalBits did a lot with AS Roma, right? Like, could something happen similar to any other country? Let's say, football clubs from England?
Allora, sta dicendo che adesso è chiaro quello che ha fatto DigitalBits con la Roma, avendo adottato la cripto di DigitalBits come strumento di pagamento all'interno degli store della Roma. E ti immagini, cioè, una cosa simile possa accadere al di fuori di Roma, al di fuori dell'Italia? E in che modo? Cioè, se questa è una cosa che vedi magari specifica sulla Roma, oppure ti immagini possa avere in qualche modo un impatto maggiore da altre parti del mondo, insomma.
Sinceramente non è facile rispondere, anche perché per me la Roma viene prima di tutto, perciò sposarsi con DigitalBits è una cosa mondiale. Diciamo che essendo uno sponsor così grande, penso che sia normale che loro abbiano e vogliono ingrandirsi sempre di più con altre squadre, non solo la Roma, ma anche in altre società, in altri sport potrebbe essere. Loro hanno la possibilità di fare qualsiasi cosa, penso. Più che altro
Grazie,
perché è un
troppo buono.
partner serio, competente e a livello mondiale, come ho sempre detto.
I mean, it's a big endorsement. So I'm very proud to translate what Francesco just said. He said, obviously, he loves Rome and he loves Roma, and he's very proud that this project started with Roma and with AS Roma. Okay, but obviously, the ambition of the project is to grow further and further, because the project has a very strong element of trust, and because it's a global one. So obviously, he doesn't see any limits in terms of growth trajectory in Italy, outside Italy, in Europe, and beyond Europe.
Interesting. Okay, a world with football all across and crypto all across. That's super interesting. One last question for him, if you could translate that.
L'ultima
Yeah.
adesso.
If there could be any other sport, apart from football. Now, football, he's established himself and everything. Everyone knows him for football. But if it could be any other sport, what would it be that he would do? And I'm sure DigitalBits would then be involved in that. But what would that sport be?
In terms of what? Sorry, what other sport and what is the question?
If Francesco could, master or play any other sport, as of today, what would that be?
Ah, ok, if you would play, ok. Quindi sta chiedendo se come ti immagineresti in un altro sport, cioè se tu non fossi diventato calciatore, avessi fatto quello che hai fatto nel mondo del calcio, in quale altro sport ti saresti visto?
Ma in questo momento dico il padel, perché ultimamente stiamo giocando abbastanza spesso. Però prima, se non avessi fatto il calciatore, io avrei preferito che facessi il benzinaio, cioè era un altro tipo di sport.
Come sport.
Come sport penso il tennista, dai.
So he's a very, very, heavily playing padel at the moment, very, very, so very often. And, globally, he's traveling also with padel. But he, if it was another sport, obviously, he would have loved to be a tennis player. But he made a joke about the fact that he could have been working in a refill in a gas station as the guy, filling with the fuel. But as a sport, maybe the tennis player.
Wow, interesting. I'm myself a tennis player, so happy to play sometime, Francesca, if that does happen. Yeah,
so you can play. Lei gioca a tennis, quindi se potete fare un doppio.
Che? In India?
In India.
Yeah.
Ok. Va bene.
Cool.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Francesco. These were all the questions, and so much love from the Indian community. And super happy to see you in the field of crypto, honestly. Thank you so much for coming here with us today and talking to us.
Grazie mille, ti stanno ringraziando.
Grazie mille. Un abbraccio.
Grazie Fra, grazie ancora.
Buon viaggio.
Ciao. Grazie. Ciao.
So that was Francesco Totti with us, talking about crypto and DigitalBits. Now I'll move on to Daniele, and we're going to talk every question that we have for DigitalBits. But before that, Daniele, I've seen DigitalBits, partners with football clubs and MotoGP and so many other sports games and, teams. Are you personally involved in in the sports as well? You're interested, you play? What about you?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm an ex of an ex of an ex an athlete player. I mean, an athlete as a broad term. So I used to run marathons until recently, and but it was I cannot really manage any longer because of the time commitment that the marathon requires, and it's kind of a profession by itself. And also I am changing a bit on a broader term. What does it mean reaching a goal in a situation where things changing? So in a marathon, you have to set, first of all, you have to run 26.2 miles or 42 point something kilometers. Then you have to stick to it, and eventually you add a variable of time. But in the case of mine, it was too heavy, and I wanted to change targets. I wanted to adjust depending on my time commitment, depending whether it was summer, winter, and it didn't fit in longer. I resulted in being overstressed in imposing myself to run marathons. In the past, I've been playing for 20 plus year football, and a decent level, and I moved in a different trajectory path or whatever. But I love sports, so I love football, I love Formula One, I love MotoGP, on a less degree tennis, and but definitely, I'm a sport addict.
Great, great. Then I think you would fit in perfectly well with DigitalBits. And it's very interesting to see crypto people having fun in all the other fields, honestly. It's very rejuvenating to see that. Great. Daniel, tell us about you. Tell us more about you. How's your journey been like?
Sorry?
How has your journey been like so far,
Okay.
before DigitalBits?
Right. So I love technology, okay? And I love technology because, since I was studying the engineering, I've done an MSc at the University of Florence back in the day, and I've been always in love with the hardware and with the software. I love also to build my own computers, so physical hardwares, and it was kind of a passion, and I used to love, and I still love in technology as I used to. But mostly, computers and application running on top of it. I was coding, and I was interested to build algorithms and to apply into some use cases. Very recently, I mean, a few years ago, I discovered how you can really program money in a way. So I never, figured out that technology can be also useful to build something which connects money and transfer value over time and over space. And obviously, the first step was to understand the Bitcoin a bit, how the engineering of Bitcoin works. So I studied more than 100 hours, the Bitcoin technology. And, I started to build my own application, and obviously inspired by the Minsky model, which it's a very early stage cryptocurrency in a way. But this project never gave birth. And I've been gravitating across the Oxford Business School back in, I think that was 2018, and along with a few fellow colleagues. So we have created the Oxford Blockchain Foundation as an extension of a former program of a blockchain education course at the same business school. And then we want to practice, and we want to do blockchain, we want to do crypto. And at that time was 2018. There were many other people that were doing a lot of cool stuff there. So these foundations, so the Oxford Blockchain Foundation is still live today, which is a cohort of fellow students of this blockchain executive program. And essentially, I got accustomed into crypto by trying to program my own money, which never, as I said before, never went live, and working with people, thought leaders in the space. That gave me confidence and also the tools to really build different business models, and then to be here with DigitalBits scaling up this project.
Interesting. Quite an interesting story. You've done a lot in this space and, good work, I'd say. Cool. Now, I think everyone's just interested to know what DigitalBits is and what does the project do. So shed some light on that. Tell us what DigitalBits does.
Yeah, so DigitalBits stands for Blockchain for Brands. And it's a project that has the ambition to drive mass adoption in the space by connecting the biggest brand in the world with this technology. So essentially, the goal of DigitalBits is to bring big brands, so worldwide brands, into different fields, not necessarily into one, to use this technology, which means, many are willing to do the same, but the difference is how you do it. Because if you think about big brands right now, if they have to do an all-in into a brand new technology, which is still, it's working since 10 plus years, but it's relatively new because this technology connects different complicated stuff. One of these is a technology that enables transfer of value. So, and value is associated to money in a way, which is a very complicated matter for most of the people. So this means we need to provide confidence to brand that this technology is safe, it brings a reputation with itself, and is good, meaning that whatever they do it better than into any different technology into play. So specifically, what we are doing is we want to make sure that blockchain and crypto, in this case, DigitalBits, is being used for real-world transactions. And what is the simplest use case to create mass adoption is throughout payments, okay? Payments means anyone is using payment as a tool of interacting between party A and party B, okay? So this means if, and this is what we're doing, we manage to bring big brands using this technology in a payment interaction, we close the loop, okay? So most of the transactions of the cryptocurrencies today involve trading. So meaning that people buy and sell an asset over a trading venue, which is good. This is a use case that works perfectly, but there is a missing one because with trading, we don't build mass adoption because we cannot really figure out or we cannot really envision that most of the people in the world will trade, okay? So we obviously, people that like I am use a trading platform and they like them and they use them. But this is something, it's a niche use case. Even though, CoinDCX is being used by 13 million people, which is great. It's a very simple app. It's very strong in terms of user interface and user experience, but also it's very strong in terms of compliance and regulation, so people trust it. We have to also look at how we can really bring mass adoption throughout real world use case. So you want to buy any merchandise or you want to buy a collectible, then you can do it with the crypto. You can do it anywhere from the retail shop, online commerce, and so on and so forth. So DigitalBits is bridging this gap. Already having payment processing, meaning you can pay already with DigitalBits in retail stores. And our focus right now is to bring mass adoption throughout payment use cases.
Got it. So essentially, this is a lot different by other layer ones because of the aforementioned things that you said. Got it. And tell me one more thing. Now that this is a blockchain, I'm sure every blockchain struggles with a blockchain trilemma, right? So how's the team solving for trilemma?
Yeah, so there are different. So this can be answered by different angles. So first of all, one of the key issues in any technology project is you need to have a technology that works. Simply be, obvious, which is not obvious. So whenever you're going to pitch a technology project, you should have an MVP. You should have something that really works and people can really use it and are excited about. So in the case of DigitalBits, obviously, so the mainnet of the chain is fully functional since actually years, but only since August last year. This has been extensively used by by users and having also applications that have been connected with. And the second one is making sure technology is secure. So the blockchain itself obviously add a layer of security, but that's not only the blockchain, is the way governance works and what is the infrastructure that is being chosen in order to manage this technology. So, and obviously, and the third step is to ensure there is a path to decentralization, meaning that every technology starts, including Bitcoin, starts in a centralized manner. Even though obviously there are paths to decentralize. In the case of Bitcoin, throughout the consensus algorithm that is proof of work, you mine Bitcoin depending on the hash power you deploy on the network, and more join the network, and more get Bitcoin, and more the network gets decentralized. Similar in DigitalBits, obviously to an earlier degree. So DigitalBits has already started to expand the footprints of the network, meaning having validators node joining the network to ensure integrity and to ensure that the network is getting decentralized more and more. And in the future, I don't know exactly when, we would love to introduce community voting system and having the coin, so DigitalBits coin also, to be useful for governance related activity. But that is not something that we have in a short-term roadmap.
Got it. Okay. You mentioned the XDB, which is the DigitalBits token, right? I'd love to know everything about it. What does the token do? How does it benefit? And how does it provide value to the whole system and brands, as you say? How does it fit into the system?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. Thank you. So first of all, this is the native coin of the blockchain. So this means every transaction that is involved in the network charge a fee in XDB coin. Right now, the network is programmed to charge a fee, which is 0.4 times 0.1 XDB per transaction, which is a fraction of a millionth of a penny. It's very, very, very small. Okay. So this means the model, obviously, for the layer one here is not like in the case of Bitcoin or even in the case of Ethereum in a proof of stake configuration. So the goal here is to make the network extremely affordable and extremely cheap when it comes down to transaction cost. Okay, so XDB is a coin, obviously, at which every transaction is being charged, and it's mandatory to be staked into every and any new wallet as a security feature. For example, you create a wallet, you create a new account in a network. From a network perspective, you need to have 20 XDB in your wallet in order to activate your account. These are the features that prevent a lot of malicious attacks into the network and ensures a very strong element of security for which the cost of the attack is always higher than the cost of the defense. So in that case, obviously, it's very, very important. The fact that you have 20 XDB staked into your wallet doesn't mean you get a yield or you get a reward. It's just the 20 XDB that are locked into your account and stays forever locked. You don't need to have 10 or 50 accounts, you just need one, and the 20 XDB remains forever over there. So, and the thesis here is that the 20 XDB represent a stake to ensure a longevity in the network over time. And if we have millions of users in the network, this means there will be a natural deflationary system because those 20 XDB will be removed from circulation. Okay, so which is a kind of, obviously it's a natural incentive to participate to the security of the network and to anticipate further troubles eventually with others willing to attack the network. So in terms of what is the main use case for XDB, so right now, over the last, I think a month or so, we have introduced the concept of crypto back, which is an evolution of the cashback. So DigitalBits is being used as a method of payment across different retail stores. For example, in the AS Roma, so the football club flagship stores in Roma, you can pay with DigitalBits, okay? So what is the incentive to pay with DigitalBits? First of all, it's a decentralized currency. Secondly, you can keep custody of it into your non-custodial wallet that is called AstraX. And thirdly, you get 10% crypto back if you pay in crypto, in DigitalBits in this case. This means, say you pay 1,000 XDB, whatever you're buying, Then you get 10% of what you're paying back in crypto straight in your wallet at the time the transaction is being settled. So you pay 1,000, you get 100 back immediately. There's no, I would say, there's no delay in the process. You get it back, and eventually you can pay. You can buy with something else, assuming you find something interesting to buy. So DigitalBits in this case, it's being the native coin is being as a payment tool. It's being used as a payment tool. And the confirmation, meaning that from a payment standpoint, you pay with the wallet using a QR code, and then in less than 5 seconds, so payment is settled on chain. Okay, what does it mean? That the counterparty, in this case the merchant, we receive their money instantaneously, and they have free of choice the decision to settle in crypto, obviously on the network, or eventually they might get money, in this case, in fiat if they wish, meaning that transaction is settled in crypto, but they receive a fiat in the back throughout a liquidity provision scheme. And this is very, very quick because settlement happens the very same day.
Got it. So essentially a lot of utility for the token. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, here, imagine the more brands gonna use the coin, the more use case will be introduced. Because here, I mean, obviously, when I'm talking about the main use case is payment. Payment, let me say, it's from a commodity standpoint, means it does the job well, okay? But when it comes down to marketing and having incentives to use the coin as opposite to other means of payment, I mean, the limit is the sky. Because obviously every brand has an incentive to use the coin because it's cheaper and it's faster than traditional methods of payment. And thirdly, the consumers, they have an incentive, which is an additional push being 10%. So we're doing this, working right now in different countries to scale these configuration up globally. Obviously, you cannot scale globally in 1 year. So there has to be kind of a product market fit, which also enables, the expansion across different regions. And also because we have to address not only, from a marketing standpoint, people need to understand why and what is the benefit, which is relatively easy. What is more important is to give a peace of mind to merchants, to payment processor, that this is an evolution of how payment works today into the traditional brick and mortar configurations.
Got it. Pretty interesting. Okay, we'll wait for that to happen, for a global adoption to happen. Interesting. Okay, also, I'd love to know what are the other projects that are building on the DigitalBits blockchain, if there are any?
Yeah, so in fact, when we say we have two different trajectories when it comes down to, say, building, okay? So the first one is, I would say, empowering or enabling communities of developers to build on top of the protocol and to provide them with the tools they need to build this up, okay? So this is a project that, so let's say, building this community and enabling people to join, this is a project that has started very, very lately with the appointment of a new CTO, which this project never had in the past. Because what is important is not only to provide documentation to developers saying, hey, go there, help yourself, but it's much more about inspiring, helping, and supporting them over a long-lasting journey. So that's why I'm so excited to kick off this call today in India, because I've been working in the past in India. So I've done a couple of M&A. I had development centers in Bangalore, and I'm very passionate about the very strong community of developers in India. So, and I would welcome very much thousands of developers joining the project and willing to be, I would say, supported to keep on building product and applications on the DigitalBits chain. So in terms of what and how to do, you connect with the project. So via the Discord channel or via the Telegram channel, and then, share whatever you're willing to do or you're willing to contribute. get access to documentation on GitHub and our laboratory toolkits, and then share with the project willing to support this. So this is something which is starting, I would say, very recently. Secondly is who is building? Well, in our terms, brands, retail brands mostly, are committed to build on top of DigitalBits. And the build is twofold. Number one, they work with us, with the project, to create cool marketing campaigns in order to help creating adoption of a coin, and in order to give a benefit to consumer in a form of reward. Okay, so there will be a campaign with a retailer in Italy called Doppelganger, which has 100+ retail stores, and I don't recall exactly the date, but at the end of this month, they're going to do a very, very interesting campaign that will be very useful for us to measure also, the responsiveness of consumers when it comes down to provide crypto incentives, and we're gonna measure how it's going to play out. So, and retailer obviously working with us to design the best of breed in terms of marketing campaigns, and in terms of providing consumers incentives. And secondly, they also committed to build a reward and loyalty schemes with DigitalBits, meaning they have their reward or loyalty points, okay? And DigitalBits is meant also to recreate how the loyalty program works. Because if you are a consumer and you are fans of a brand, and then you are entitled to get a reward, typically this process of redeeming a reward is very clunky and involves an interaction of different platforms. You might receive a reward by email, by a push notification, then you have to do something else. Eventually you have a physical voucher. It's a very disjointed journey. So with DigitalBits, the goal is having the brands that obviously embrace DigitalBits as a means of payment, also to use DigitalBits as a reward technology, so as they can build the reward directly in cryptocurrency, or build their own reward points directly into DigitalBits technology. So in this case, essentially the journey will be very, very much simplified, because the interaction will be the brand with just the Web3 wallet, which is a non-custodial, so your keys, your coin, and you can interact, you can redeem loyalty points, you can spend loyalty points as a means of payment in a very, very simple, secure, and with a peace of mind interaction between the brand and the technology. No need to have an app, no need to have email exchanges. Everything will be controlled by your wallet.
Okay. So a seamless wallet, essentially. Interesting.
Yeah, everything will be managed within the wallet. Yes. So the goal is everything.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I saw a question here about India, and you also mentioned India. How bullish are you on the Indian Web3 ecosystem?
Sorry, what's that? Can you repeat, please?
How bullish are you about the Indian Web3 development and ecosystem?
I mean, this is India, when it comes down to software, is the factory of the world. I have witnessed this with my eyes, mostly in Bangalore. I don't have experience in Chennai, or in Delhi, or in Mumbai, but mostly in Bangalore. Anything with whom I was connected with, it happened in Bangalore, and it's really amazing how quick people think, and how quick people do things. And this is something for people that live like me most of the time in Europe, or in different part of the world. It's kind of not really imaginable. And to me, India is the best country when it comes down to really bringing crypto into kind of a mass adoption. So as long as I would say the Indian development community is not actively engaged, because engaged is already engaged. But when it comes down to be actively engaged, I think there's a huge room of improvement, and we definitely committed to pave new ways of engaging and onboarding big communities of developers in India, and truly support them. So I do see a massive axis of growth driven by real world use case. So people have to be excited if they build technology. they need to see a utility out of it. And I think one of the issues that crypto so far has witnessed is the fact that it's complicated to understand for people that are not yet in crypto, which is a kind of a catch-22. So as long as people see that this is a technology that people use in real world, there are brands connected, there are athletes like Francesco Totti being with us today and others. So this weekend there will be a race in Austin, Texas with the MotoGP. And one of our brand ambassadors will be there and we'll do a special signing session. Actually, there will be a virtual one, but the brand DigitalBits will be exposed to a massive event like that one. So this gives trust to people saying, hey, I want to be part of this project. I think it's cool. It's nice because it's not a coin that eventually people will just use in a single use case, which is, we can buy or sell into a trading venue, which is a nice use case, again, because what crypto is doing has created a liquidity infrastructure that didn't exist before, thanks to the trading venues like CoinDCX and others. But what we really need to onboard even more people and to get to 1 billion users, people by 2025 or 2026, today, I think by different stats, we are a fraction of it. Someone is saying 150 million, someone is saying 250, whatever it is, we're not 1 billion people using crypto today. We're not 1 billion people paying with crypto. We want to be, okay? So this means we need to have people that really trust into this technology because they see this technology is useful and this technology is getting things better. So, and I feel DigitalBits has some value elements to make this happening at scale. So I would be very happy to host an event in India very soon and to talk and to work with an exciting community of developers.
Absolutely. I think all the love from India. And I believe Web3 adoption is a very big aspect to work on and to solve. And, we're all working for it. CoinDCX is working for it. So we're very happy. And we share that same enthusiasm in working on that same aspect. One last question I have for DigitalBits. What's the future like? What are the hidden secrets that you guys are working on? Anything interesting brewing in the company?
Yeah, I mean, this year it's a year of big changes within the DigitalBits project, in the sense that so there's a lot of axis of strategy that have been triggered last year in a year of excitement about different reasons, and but this project right now is really building very strong fundamentals in order to grow across different axes. And the axis has predominantly two, which obviously requires a lot of hidden work. And the axes are products and community. Okay, so that's the core. And I'm not talking about anything which has an element of marketing. I'm talking about at the core. So every project has to build or has to improve UX, UI of products and application. And in the case of a layer one project, is essential that the technology works and there is a root on how the technology grow because people using it, because products and application are built on top. Okay, so the first axis was, and it is still, having an ecosystem of wallets which are connected to the chain, which makes the on and the off ramp easy for anyone in the world. So we have done this, and in a very short amount of time, we have launched a non-custodial wallet. It was already existing before, but we have introduced a non-ramp system in order to be able to buy digital Bitcoin with every fiat currency in the world. And the exercise for us was, how can we make the user experience smooth and simple? And this is the first step. Obviously, the second step is to add new non-custodial wallets, meaning to integrate new ones to the chain, and then to empower third party to build products and application on top of it. Lastly, having payment processor that really connect merchants and brands through the use case I mentioned before, which is payment use case. That's the product angle. From a community angle, we have an amazing community already. This project is relatively new, but we have an amazing community, very strongly attached to the project, that truly understand the core benefit and truly understand the pain that the project went through over the last months, because different reasons, okay? But typically, when there is an element of pain, there's also an element of let's do things better. And this is where we are. Project right now is growing in terms of very cool people has joined the team. And actually, we have a great team right now. And I'm very confident that if I'm not around, the team is doing a lot of work. This project is no longer dependent by a single person, because we cannot really talk about decentralizing the world and having a single project person representing the project like me or anyone else. So my role is to empower others to be successful. And when I say others, not only team members, I'm talking about the people in the community. Anyone can play a significant role to the growth trajectory of this project, helping the project, to get better and better, getting ideas and so on and so forth. So obviously there had to be a lot of changes, but I think changes are good in this case. And so we are really, really on in to empower anyone I just mentioned. I call it project stakeholders, to really drive and help the project to succeed and getting better, stronger, and bigger.
Absolutely. We're all looking forward to that. And very interesting things coming up, from the side. So always interested in seeing what's going on, what's going to come next. So I think we've covered most of the questions and I got all my answers, everything. I think most of the people are now aware of what DigitalBits does, what's coming up in the future, and what the token XDP does, which is also being listed at CoinDCX today. So guys, check that out. Get yourselves a token. No financial advice again, but you've heard the project, you've heard about what's going on. So, make your own decision of investments. That's it from my side. Thank you so much, Danielle. This was an interesting conversation. Thank you, everyone, for plugging in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do wait for the XTB tokens listing today at CoinDCX, and we're going to see you at the other side. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.